here, this question is not on the other video, the part 2 video. On the exam, chances are you're going to have a sign that's less than, and that's going to be a dotted line. For these, they're solid. Okay, so this is just a note saying that watch out for those signs. Okay, so how do you do this question? Well, you need to graph both of these inequalities separately, and where the shading crosses is going to be your answer. So there's a couple ways to do this. What we learned this year was to graph the line as if it was an equal sign and use the slope, which is -1, and the y-intercept, which is also -1. And we called this the start slope form. So you're going to start at -1 and do a slope of -1. That's kind of easy because they're the same number. You can't confuse them. So if I start at -1 and go, now a slope of -1 is -1/1. So that means go down 1/1. So you're going corner to corner, except your slope is negative or downhill. Then you're going to connect the dots, and it's the solid line, so I'm okay with that. It's a solid line, so I can, a solid line. You'll have a straight edge on the exam to make a solid line, a straight line. And then you need to shade. So the shading part is we're going to test a point off the line. I'm going to test 0, 0 and put it in the original inequality. 0 is for y is less than or equal to -0 minus 1, otherwise known as 0 is less than or equal to -1. Is that a true statement? And the answer is no, it's false. Okay, that's false. So we shade away from 0. So I'm going to shade in this direction for this line. I'm not going to do the whole thing right away because I just want to make a little pocket where they both cross. Okay, so that was how to graph the first line. Now, let me stay with the first line for a second. You also can graph this way. Okay, so if you don't know how to graph by the slope and the intercept, then you can graph using a chart. And how do you do that? You put an x and a y, and you pick numbers for x and y. I'm sorry, for x, and you'll get a y number. So again, if this is very low level, let's just do 0, 1, and 2. We won't even put any negatives in there. Okay, if I put a 0 in, I get, and I'm putting it into y equals -x minus 1. So I'm putting the 0 in for the x. So -0 minus 1, and my y value is going to come out to equal -1. So that's 0, -1. That's that point right there. Then I'm going to put a 1 in. And use your calculator if you need to. So -1, I'm putting the 1 in for x, minus 1 is -2. So when I go to 1 on my graph over here, I go 1 and down 2, and that's that point right there. 1 comma -2. And then if you put a 2 in, you get -2 minus 1, which is -3, and that's this point 2, 2, -3. 2, -3. And then you connect your dots and make your line. Okay, this is a basic way to do it, and it works for numbers that are compatible. But if you get a complicated graph, it's not so easy. Okay, you have to choose which way to graph. So there is an out. You can't just say, oh, I don't know how to do it. You know, you've got 2 ways to do this question. There's more ways to do it, but there's 2. All right, now we're going to do the other line. What do you mean the other line? The other inequality. So now we're doing y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. Okay, and you're going to, again, I would suggest graphing this way, the slope is, which is m, which is 2 over 1. So I'm going to, and I'm going to start at my y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, which is 4. So I'm going to go to 4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here. Sorry. Okay, and then I'm going to do a slope of 2, 1. So that's up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And if I went down 2, I would go back 1. Either way, my slope is positive. It's positive. So I'm going uphill. And I'm pretty sure my line is correct. So then we're going to connect the dots here. And then we still need to shade. Now the line is solid because of this line right here. If that line wasn't there, it would be a dotted line. It should shade up, but let's check it. Let's check this one to see if it shades up. Well, how do we check it? We take 0, 0. I'm going to take this point 0, 0 off the line and plug it in to this inequality here. So, is 0 greater than or equal to 2 times 0 plus 4? Is 0 greater than or equal to 4? The answer is no, so we shade away. 0 is not greater than 4. Shade away. Okay, so we would be shading this way on this line, but I'm not going to shade up top. I want to shade just in the area where the two things are going to intersect. I'm going to shade here and here. Okay, so the question says mark the solution with an S, so this would be the solution. Okay, you also need to put arrowheads on the ends of your lines. Okay, and you need to label the lines. So this is y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. And then this one would be the other line, which is y is less than or equal to negative x minus 1. So to get full credit, you would have this for an answer. Scroll out, because this actual thing says mark the solution to the inequality with an S. The solution is where the two crisscross. So if I pick any point in this solution, if I pick negative 10, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 10, negative 6, and I put it into each inequality way back here, a negative 10, negative 6, negative 10, negative 6, it'll be a true statement. Both of them will be true. So both are true in this area.